Hi, Tinks. Welcome to another episode of Bahamian Banter with the Social Tinker. And guess who I have here with me today? The woman behind Casa.
Casa, yeah, that's how you pronounce
it. I get it on the first try. Please tell the people who you are.
So my name is Aaliyah Knowles. Like she said, I am the owner of Casa. I'm also a ceramic artist. And yeah, I actually have been living in Canada for the past around 8 to 10 years after I graduated high school. But I decided to come back in the last, I believe, 2 years. I came in 2023.
Yeah.
I came in 2023 and I decided to essentially do what I was doing in Canada over here, which was opening a community studio to share the art of ceramics with the Bahamas.
And she born, bred, and get dead Bahamian. I just want to make that very clear. The Knowles family from Long Island, right?
Yeah.
And I from Long Island too. My mommy is Knowles. We might be related.
Probably.
I'm sure we are. And I really wanted to highlight on Bahamian Banter, one of the unique spaces that we have in Nassau where you can be creative and it isn't, surrounded around booze or any of those additives that people think you need to have fun while you're also able to be creative. What even made you come up with the name Casa? And this is the logo.
Yeah. I have my logo stamp on like almost everything.
I know, that's right. They don't stamp when you do it.
Soon. I actually do want to tattoo.
Okay.
I actually do want to tattoo my logo. So Casa is, I am Bahamian, but I'm also, my father's Bahamian and my mother's Colombian. And so
¿Tú hablas español?
Yo sí hablo español.
¿En serio?
Oh yeah, you do speak Spanish. We already spoke Spanish. I know you speak Spanish. I forget that.
Pero me olvidé. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, back to English. What was I saying?
You were saying that your mommy from Colombia.
Yeah, so my mom's from Colombia, but I was raised in the Bahamas in a Colombian household. So it was very
food must have been incredible.
It was incredible. It was a very different upbringing because even though I was, going to school here, half my family here was Bahamian as well, my core interaction in my immediate family was mostly Colombian. So we would speak Spanish in the house. We would eat
frijoles.
Yeah, that literally beans, rice, plantain, and beef would be my meals.
If you ever had Spanish food, let me tell you, I feel like it's happiness, it's Spanish food, Spanish cuisine.
I love it. I miss Colombia. Oh my gosh, I miss Colombia.
You went to live there, or you?
I went to live there. So how it worked was we lived here, and then we would go visit every year or twice a year. To Colombia. And then honestly, when the pandemic happened, we didn't visit, I think maybe 2 years. We're just going back this year.
Okay.
To go visit.
It'll be a family trip.
Yeah, so it's always a family trip to go see our family.
Right. And that ties in with the logo.
So Casa means home. And then Ba is just short for Bahamas. So Bahama home, Casa Ba home. I've always in even my personal art practice, I've always tried to kind of mix the two. And it's always just been kind of me trying to connect with both cultures. Because what I was trying to say before is that even though I was going to school here, I was raised here, I was still in my immediate family life, very Colombian, very Hispanic. So I felt disconnected from my Bahamian roots, even though I was living here. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel I only was Bahamian in school.
Wow.
Because at my home, I would speak Spanish, blah, blah. And then in school, I would have a slight Bahamian accent. I would be able to I guess exercise those muscles and have a different side to me at school and with my friends and stuff.
Your home culture was you.
It was, yeah. And so, a lot of my adult life has just been trying to reconnect with both. Because even though when I would go back to Colombia with my family, I don't feel Colombian because I live in the Bahamas and my family treats me like a guest and you're you're the relative that's in the other country and stuff. So she's the Bahamian. So in Colombia, I'm Bahamian, and then over here, I'm Bahamian.
How do you navigate that? How do you, because you know who you are. You're both. You're both.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate that and having to correct even family or friends in
I don't correct anybody because nobody's wrong. When they're just oh, she's I am Bahamian. And then when they're just oh, well, she's Colombian, I am Colombian. So whether they want to pick one side more than the other, it's just up to them. I'm very much happy with how
Being
I
both.
view myself. Yeah. And I'm honestly still navigating it. Like,
Beautiful.
that's why I have my art practice, which is essentially going, I guess, much, much farther back into kind of like the indigenous roots and like how they like intersect. What are the similarities between both cultures? What are the differences? And yeah, so.
And using that within the studio creates a space too for people to not only discover who they are, but their talents.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Even just playing with this now, I'm like, I didn't even think of this shape, but clearly my mind and my hands did.
Yeah, I love to do ceramics while I talk because like you kind of don't really focus too much on what you're making. You kind of focus more on like how it feels because your brain is so occupied with like having engaging in a conversation. So you're not too like hell bent on like, oh my God, is this coming out right? Like, and even if you look down for a second and make a mistake, you literally just be like, oh, let me just start over because I talk in anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So in creating this studio, what are some people that you were like, wow, that's so cool to meet, the walks of life? Or
I think everybody that has walked in here, I always ask them, I'm like, hey, have you done ceramics before? Because I know specifically in the Bahamas, it's a very low percentage of people who have experienced ceramic arts. So it's interesting to see people who, you know, haven't done it. And I always like watch kind of like how they interact with the medium. Some people are much, you know, braver than others, and other people are actually very afraid to kind of like
get down and dirty.
Like I would tell like the first step specifically in like wheel throwing, I'd be like, okay, you have to like reshape the clay from a ball, like a rough ball like this, into like an egg or an avocado shape. So all you have to do is just, you know, press it down and then squeeze with your other hand to create a peak at the top, right? And I'll show them, and I explained it much better than I did for the sake of the video. But it would take them so long to pinch because they think that they're going to make a mistake by pinching the clay. Yeah. But I'm just like, it's just clay. Even if you make a mistake, you just start over. But I think that's also something that's super ingrained into kind of like our way of life, like going back to even just like school times, like making mistakes are not embraced. So that's something that I had to learn as an adult. In my like earlier years, like late teens when I was in college, making a mistake, I didn't realize how much I did not want to make. It
was life shattering if you
did.
But
now I'm just like, I look forward to making mistakes because mistakes is a way of learning.
Yeah.
So not only am I teaching you, you know, like ceramics when you get in here, I'm trying to make you more comfortable with kind of like a different way of thinking. And you can use this approach in like many different aspects of your life. Like ceramics is all about patience, taking things slow.
I was going to ask you, do you find yourself to be more patient?
Yeah, when I first started ceramics, I was so impatient. Like I couldn't even wait on a line. Like you have me wait on a line for like 10 minutes, I'm leaving.
You're ready to go.
I'm doing this tomorrow. Like I'm that person who would go to like an office if I had to be somewhere. I'd go there 30 minutes before they even open just so I don't have to wait.
Wow.
But now I'm just like, oh, I have to do this thing. Like obviously I still go like on time.
Yeah, there's a determination, but it's
like
it's
if
not
I see a long line.
Yeah.
Like yesterday I was at the business license office waiting on that line outside in the hot sun. I just take out my book and I was just like, well, let's practice some patience.
Oh, I love that though. You know, it also helps with anxiety. Being a more patient person. And then it allows you to filter what's really important.
Yeah.
You need your business license.
Exactly. So you have to be patient. It's
yeah.
like, what am I going to do? Another thing about anxiety, linking it back to ceramics, like I said, there's so many lessons you can learn. One of the rules in ceramics is, what's it called? Always know what you're going to do before you start, specifically on the wheel.
Right.
Because I like to tell people, I'm like, if you don't know what you're going to make, then you're probably going to end up with nothing, or you're not going to end up with something that's structurally structurally
sound.
Good. Because let's say, for example, you're just like, okay, I can make a cup. So you start making your cup, you start making a cup. The cup's starting to look more like a bowl. You're just like, okay, I can make a bowl because it's starting to look like a bowl. So you're trying to make it look more like a bowl. And then the thing flop and turn into a plate. You're like, okay, we can make a plate. And then you try and make it look more like a plate. And now you have a hole, or like now it's nothing.
It's nothing.
So if you know that you're making a cup, you're going to make that cup. So it's kind of just like what it has to do with kind of like your decision making, being more sure of yourself. Because anxiety is a lot of like questioning and being like insecure and stuff like that. And so a lot of these little things, actually learning the art of ceramics has like really helped my way of life. Because I had very, very bad anxiety. I still struggle with anxiety now. Yeah. But I know how to cope with it.
Yes. I think of a proverb that I live by. you always get enough anxiety for each day. So I try to just focus on what is in front of me, the feelings and anxieties that I have today. Because sometimes you'd be like, oh my God, and I have to do this tomorrow. And then we carry yesterday's anxiety into today's, and we're wondering why it's so heavy. So it's beautiful to see that through working in the ceramic field or in this type of artistry, you're able to harness that anxiety, and then it identifies the kind of anxiety you have. It's not so broad.
Exactly.
And that's why I love going to the beach. I love shooting on the beach.
Me too. Love the beach.
But I made an exception for this episode for that because this space is sacred. It's no problem. Anywhere where people create things and it's original to them, I always like to come into that space. Well, I appreciate you even allowing me to do that.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. I love when people come in here. It's like my ultimate dream.
You can tell people where you're located because
we're located on 27 Chesapeake, right off of Jerome Avenue or Mackey Street. We're like on the street that kind of like connect the two. We're located directly across the street from Janae's Uniform Center.
That's actually like on it. That's excellent direction.
Across the street, and the building is a white warehouse building, orange trim, and it has a sign that says 27 Chesapeake.
And what's cool, it's shared spaces in here. Now you have your own private space for the other areas as well. Yeah. Speaking of the shared spaces, you bring groups together, or is only private?
No, we do groups. We have so we are a functioning studio from Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And in every day, we have different time slots that you can book a class through our booking website. So we have 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., and then 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So from Monday to Saturday, you can book those times.
Perfect.
And you can do either a hand building, you can do wheel throwing, or you can do every month we have like a specialty class. And so this month of January, it's Mugs and Manifest, where you make a mug and we have a little worksheet that we all fill out and we kind of like share our goals if you want to. Yeah. And then we all work together. The worksheet also helps you to create kind of like your manifestation phrase for 2025.
Gotcha.
And then you stamp it kind of like into your mug. Phrase? My manifestation phrase on my mug is...
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Hold on. Let me get it.
Yeah, go get it.
Let me get my mug.
Let me think of a manifestation phrase for the year that I want to live by.
Where did it go?
Oh, I know what it is. I say this all the time.
I say this all the time. Come on. My mug must be over there. It has something to do with success. I know that.
Oh, all day, baby.
Boy, could not tell you where that mug gone. I've been using it as a demo, so it might be somewhere. Oh, I see it. Okay.
Oh, that's a pretty cup. Yeah. You can put it in the camera.
It's not fired yet.
Okay.
Okay, so my phrase, here it is. And don't mind, I spelled successful so wrong. I am abundantly successful at everything I do.
So, abundantly, I love
abundantly successful.
Ooh.
But yeah, so a lot of people, it's been so cute to see kind of like, it's in a stage called bisqueware. Sorry, not bisqueware, bone dry. So it's very fragile.
Okay. Wow, that's kind of like interesting that in creating this, it starts off like this, and then it gets to that level, but it's still fragile. It's still not perfect.
Exactly.
And then when it's heated, it's just functional and more sturdy. And I think that's kind of like, if we infuse that into life, of how we may start each day.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Wow.
Different phases, different stages.
Would you say you've been able to now attract the right people in your life, from friendships, relationships, partnerships in business, or because of your dedication now to your craft and to who you even are as a person?
I think for sure. I definitely think now that I'm more focused and in tune with what I'm doing, like focused is the right word, with kind of like what I'm doing towards the studio and where I want to take it. Definitely a lot of people who are in line with that and who kind of like want to be a part of the community and vice versa, like whatever community they have, like, because I'm also very like multifaceted. So like there's a lot of different industries that I've been a part of that kind of like made me the person that I am today and have helped me gain the skills to be able to even do this.
Awesome.
And so I'm always big on community. So I love to help. Like I love to like, you know, do kind of like collaboration things.
Similar like to today.
Yeah, like today. And then also not always, you know, like the right people.
I was just going to say, how do you discern the right people to
when
be a
you
part?
get to a certain point of kind of like being very sure of what you're doing, I think you're actually going to get introduced to more people who are attempting to distract you from that.
Ooh.
Like it seems like they are for it, but
they ain't.
It's not.
No.
But it could not. It don't even have to be them. It's just you have to discern.
Yes.
Is this the best course of action? It could be somewhat. But is this like just like a quick little thing to get, you know, like some quick money?
100%.
By jeopardizing, you know, like the integrity of, you know, what you stand for type of thing. I'm not saying that's ever happened to me.
No, but it makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think when you are someone that works within passion and someone sees that does not have a passion for something or for something, they then are very money focused. And so it's not that they don't want more for you, it's the wrong more that they want.
Exactly.
They want more money, they want more access. And I found that if you have to pry open a door, if you have to break a window to get in, it's going to have a very unfavorable outcome. So I work with passion, and that's really how I decided to even start Bahamian Banter, because I love people. I really enjoy talking. It's so much I'm learning from you that I wouldn't have been able to learn in a crowded room.
Conversation like this is very like lost in today's society because of kind of like how we've adopted a lot of kind of like, let's say just like Western America.
Yes.
They're a very independent driven society. So it's kind of like, I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do.
And if you in my way,
exactly,
then...
Yeah. If you in my way, get out of my way. And we come from a very
relaxed
relaxed word of mouth kind of like culture. And so with kind of like the exposure from like, you know, America and stuff like that, we're slowly adopting, because obviously, you know, all countries and everybody wants to advance, you know, like I like what they do and I want to do it too. But there's definitely a way to do that
without compromising.
Exactly, without compromising kind of like
fundamental things in the community.
We are. Because I always believe everything's better in numbers.
Oh, 100%.
Anything, like nothing here is just me. There is my family behind me, my friends behind me, even people who kind of like strangers who like just help out and like just for even like for a blip in a moment, they are like what created the studio, what got me here today.
Oh,
like
that's so special.
Everything's more powerful in numbers. So like anytime anyone is just like, I want to help or anything, like I always, or vice versa, always accept it if it's, you know, obviously discernment first.
Yes, and
absolutely. Then accept the help. But like, don't ever feel like this is something that I have to do.
You're the island, blah, the blah, only blah. Island that can't survive. Yeah. I agree. And I speak about it all the time with my parents, where we talk about the importance of asking for help and not necessarily asking just anyone. We look at persons that are, they're driven, or at least they have the skills and qualities that we too want to harvest and have. I can't take that from them. So by asking, most likely those people do want to help you. And I'm so grateful too to the persons that have helped me with my podcast, that has helped me with my business, the social thinker, and even helped me to walk away from spaces that really weren't mine to be in. Because sometimes what I love about humans, we adjust and adapt to anything. Yeah. Look at COVID-19, how quickly we all just adjusted to being at home and having to find a way to make things work.
And then readjusted back to
society. And even if it's something that we have to now deliberately do, we do it.
Exactly.
So I do appreciate the importance of community and having friends and family tell you when those spaces don't serve you, or when people don't serve you. When do you make time? I'm sure this is a form of self-love for you, but when do you make time to really just enjoy you and who you are? How does that work or look like to you as well?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Okay, so it is, you mean like, I guess, detaching myself from the business and like work and stuff like that?
Because it's something you love, so it doesn't feel like you have to detach.
So that's the hard part. Because I enjoy being in the studio so much, I've had to kind of like make a schedule and just stick to it. So in the beginning, it was very hard. Everything was overlapping. I didn't have time to spend for myself, take care of myself. I didn't have time to spend with my partner, my family, his family, and stuff like that. Like, it was very, very difficult. But I told myself, I was like, this isn't going to be, like, I have to nip this.
It ain't healthy,
bud.
yeah.
Like, this isn't how I want it to be. Because some people do that, you know, like, there's that whole stereotype of, like, people who get into like entrepreneurship and business, like,
and that's it.
No family, like, y'all have to understand that this is what I'm
who I
working
am.
for.
If you really understand me, you would accept this.
And then that's for the next 10 years?
And
Absolutely not.
You're burnt out,
No,
you're exhausted, you're lost.
Exactly.
And then you miss moments that really matter.
Exactly.
Oh,
and I don't want to do that, because half of the reason why I came back anyway was to spend time with my family.
Aww.
And so I had to remind myself that, like, even though I'm getting in on this, you know, big venture, I still have to keep that in mind, because, you know, those are the people that, again, support me. You can't just be taken from these people and just not, you know, given back. And I'm not meaning even given back in a physical sense, like just spending time with them, because half the time that's really all they want.
Yes.
They just want
time
to
spent.
be near you.
Time spent.
And so what I started doing is accepting help. You know, I recently hired somebody, a studio assistant.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Shout out, Taylor.
You're amazing, girl.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you, Taylor.
Shout out to Taylor. And so that has allowed me to kind of like divvy up responsibility, step back a little bit, and give myself a strict schedule. Like, the same way I'm just like, you're going to be in the studio from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. from Monday to Saturday. You're not going to do anything like in the studio on Sundays. So
at all.
Sunday, exactly.
What ain't done Saturday will get done Monday.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so Sundays is kind of like my day to reset. Hopefully in the future, I will have more time to myself, because I do want the studio at some point to be self-sufficient, to expand and stuff like that. So until then, I'm just chipping away until I'm finding just time for myself, but definitely Sundays for right now. Sundays is when I get my family time in.
That's so beautiful.
Personal time. And it's not every Sunday. Like, some Sundays I might spend with family. Some Sundays I'm just at home, chilling, resetting, chilling, not doing much. And then some Sundays, you know, I'm spending most of the time with my boyfriend, and we're playing like tennis and stuff like that. So just
very active.
Very active. I very much like to be active.
You would love Pilates, I think. You really would.
I tried. You know, Brittany into Pilates.
Yeah.
Brittany.
Brittany has a different. To Brittany, you different. You different, baby. Love that about you. But that floor Pilates, I haven't even worked up.
I actually want to get into this year. I'm waiting for Just Dance to open their registration, because I want to do adult ballet.
Ooh.
I'm trying to like rekindle. I'm very
You're
like
a dancer?
Attached. Kind of.
Oh, you just
I'm very attached to my past. So when I was younger, I used to take ballet, but I dropped out because I was one of them kids that would like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And my mommy was just like, okay,
do whatever.
And if I want to drop out, she'd let me drop out.
That is very Latin family based. Latin families and communities are very like, tu quieres sí, vamos.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And so I never got to finish the ballet, but I've always wanted to. Because my childhood was a lot of like quitting things very early on and not following through. A lot of my adult life is I will follow through to things that I say.
Oh, that's a beautiful change.
Yeah. And so 2025 ballet, see me at that big show.
This now makes sense why you're manifesting this year is you're abundantly successful at everything you do, because there are certain things you're revisiting.
Yes.
That you want to be successful at.
I do.
That's beautiful.
Or just follow through.
Yeah.
The success is the follow through. That is
a good point, because we can't control.
I ain't saying I could be
when the
prima ballerina and stuff like that. Like, I could be the best. I probably, you just
can try your best.
But I just want to follow it through. Like, I want to do the course from start to finish.
I love that.
That's it.
I love that so much. And I'm so grateful that you have decided to have a career that, hones the skill of allowing people to be creative. To deal with their anxiety, to manifest who they are. Because there's a lot of careers that are very stressful. And I used to work in the ambulance. And as I look back in my career, I'm like, I would tell my younger self probably not to do that. Not even the stress of working in that space, but to stress it out on my body. Yeah. To stress it out on my time. I did not have, obviously you don't. And they're the unsung heroes, right, of life amongst teachers and police officers, etc. But this has been the coolest experience ever. And I'm so grateful that you made time for me.
No, thank you.
Casa is definitely a cute date night spot, self-love spot. and
family. We do kids,
family,
everything. Yeah.
And I hope that everybody tries to book through. We'll at some point I'll put the link where you can book so that you're able to experience this with friends and family and just enjoy the creativity that lives in your hands. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate this. And it's a beautiful job. I love you and I appreciate this time. You are such a radiant spirit and energy to be around.
Thank you.
Thank you for the positivity.
Thank you for the exposure and the thought. I'm very happy that you got to see the space.
This was really nice.
Thank you.
I really like it.
Thank you.
Simple and simplicity. Within simplicity, you see beauty easily. So, case in point. Bye.
Bye.